Hello audiences. Compared to other cities in Vietnam, Dalat is considered a young city, formed over 100 years ago, but Dalat has grown extremely fast and became a Class 1 city, leaving behind other cities with long histories. Today's video may be different than most of the videos about Dalat that you have seen. It's not just a travel video. Hope everyone will enjoy it. Let's stay till the end. Thank you. In this video, historical data and planning of Dalat are referenced and cited mainly from two reference books, Dalat Under the Fog and Dalat The Encounters, People and Urban 1899-1975, of the writer and researcher Nguyen Vinh Nguyen. Thanks also to the art project Ben Doi Doi and the brothers and sisters, inside and outside of Dalat, for their support in this video. In Southeast Asia, the continent has a mountain range running from northeast Laos to the south-central of Vietnam, called the Annamite Range, which is more than 1,000 kilometers long. In the southeast, this mountain range is the Lam Vien or Lang Bien Plateau with an average altitude of 1,500 meters above sea level. To the south of the plateau is Dalat City. In some maps and documents, as you can see, Lam Vien Plateau also has another name as Dalat Plateau. Dalat City is the economic center of the province of Lam Dong, Vietnam, 300 kilometers from Ho Chi Minh City, 179 kilometers from Nha Trang and 208 kilometers from Buon Ma Thuot. In the past, the two cities with much connection with Dalat were Saigon and Phan Rang. Dalat, not located on the roads from Saigon to Hanoi, stands on a hilly area, the way to turn the terrain, but is one of the crowded urban areas in the south. Nowadays, we easily come to Dalat while we cross our left leg, beat our right foot, and hold the phone with the right hand and press the correct Wi-Fi password. It is very difficult for us to imagine a Dalat more than 100 years ago. After the French president signed a decree to establish the Federation of Indochina, 1887, France built up the administrative apparatus and proceeded to colonize in Indochina, which they called the construction of civilization. At that time, Dalat was still a desolate place, lying somewhere on the western highlands of Annam. In 1893 to 1894, microbiologist Alexander Yersin, having sponsored independent surveys from the colonial government, went to the lonely Lang Bien highlands but with the same climatic conditions as southern Europe, where there are only makeshift houses owned by ethnic minorities. Assuming there were no French surveys, then perhaps now Dalat would still be a village, or else it would have developed in a completely different direction. We put Dalat in the regional context at that time. The Shimla region was built by the British colonialists in India as a nursing station. Bandung was chosen by the Dutch for the same purpose. Because white people originally lived in temperate weather, they weren't used to the rigors of the tropical colonies. Nursing stations are set up to improve their health. The British and the Dutch did it, and the French did not. French soldiers died from tropical diseases such as hepatitis and increasing malaria. In 1897, Paul Doumer became Governor-General of Indochina. He said, "To successfully carry out colonization in a tropical country, the first necessary condition is for Europeans to live there. Resorts in Indochina are just as necessary as resorts in other East India. The climate of Cochinchina is particularly dangerous and makes physical weakness weak." 2 years after taking office, the governor and the Dr. Yersin again perform expeditions from Phan Rang to Lang Bien. This is a journey full of struggle by terrain malfunctions and many beasts. They are to be plateau in 2200 hours, one night in March 1899 November. Paul Doumer signed a decree to establish a nursing station Lang Bien, the premise for the establishment of the city in the future. In a letter to minister in the colony, he wrote, "Dalat village is located in a wonderful spot and enjoys indisputable fresh conditions, and was finally chosen as the site for the future resort station. For wooden houses, a house floor in a wooden structure's big 52 meters long used as a guest house has been built. That is the first work of a city of the future." We can imagine, a crowded Dalat today was only 4 to 5 lonely houses like that. Administrative division. As you may not know, Dalat used to be a city under the central government, with Hanoi Haiphong and Saigon in 1975, but only a few months after that, Dalat City merged with Tuan Duc and Lam Dong provinces into a province named Lam Dong. At that time Dalat had only 3 quarters. So far, Dalat has expanded many times. The total area of Dalat city is 394.64 square kilometers, which is one of the cities under the province with the largest area in Vietnam. Dalat is located in the north of Lam Dong province, bordering 4 districts in a clockwise direction: Lac Duong, Don Duong, Duc Trong, and Lam Ha. The city has 12 wards from Ward 1 to Ward 12 and 4 in Sien No, Sien Truong, Tram Han, and Ta Nung communes. The wards of Dalat were not ordered and unified according to topography, in which the city center is the entire Ward 1, Ward 2, and part of Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5, Ward 6, and Ward 10. The remaining wards also have a high degree of urbanization. We do not have the concept of the Dalat metropolitan area. But considering the historical, economic, transport and urbanization aspects of the neighboring towns, it can be called the Dalat metropolitan area. Outside the administrative scope expanded to 3 sides, namely Dran in the east, Tan Mai, Lien Nia in the south, and the town of Lac Duong in the north. So it will not be surprising if one day these towns are merged into Dalat. Topography. The center of Dalat is located in a basin surrounded by mountains of about 1,600 to 1,700 meters high, of which the northern mountains are remarkably high, with Lang Bian Peak 2,167 meters high. In the city center, the highest point is 1,532 meters at Nguyen Hue Hau Palace, Ward 5. Suburban areas have many points higher than this altitude. Particularly Ta Nung Commune, in the west, is only about 1,100 to 1,300 meters. Dalat has more than 20 streams with the length of more than 4 kilometers, belonging to the stream systems of Cam Lai, De Tam, and De Nim. It forms upstream streams in the Dong Nai River Basin, of which more than half are shallow streams, which flow only in the rainy season and dry up in the dry season. Climate is the key to forming identity. Dalat, located in a tropical area, but because of its remarkable height, this city has a completely different climate type from neighboring localities. Climate Dalat is classified as a high mountain climate and surrounded by green pine forest. Therefore, it has many characteristics of temperate zone. Cool climate all year round, the average temperature does not exceed 20 degrees Celsius. In winter months, the temperature is not less than 10 degrees Celsius. Dalat has 2 distinct seasons. Rainy season is from May to October. Usually it rains in the afternoon, sometimes hail. The dry season is from November to April. In the last months of the year, the northeast monsoon spills over in waves, a bit cold, but the sky is better and dry. Although there are 2 seasons, the temperature difference at different times of the year is not much, it is always cool. Therefore, it will be extremely unusual if you find a hotel in Dalat that has air conditioning in. Dalat, called the City of Fog. Fog appears much from February to May, from September to October every year. Mist usually focuses in the early morning and late afternoon. Many slopes are sometimes engulfed in fog. In the past years, due to the climate change and urbanization, the temperature of Dalat has tended to increase. Recently, at times it has reached more than 27 degrees Celsius. Due to the different urban distribution and altitude each region has in cities, there is a slight temperature difference. The weather of the day in Dalat usually changes quickly from warm sunshine to overcast rain and dew. A little cheeky, like a pretty girl, but a little hard to pamper. Economy. It is easy to see that Dalat people are very enthusiastic about doing business. There are times when you see a woman in the morning and afternoon selling vegetables to the market, but it is possible that they have a few villas with hotels for rent. That is the truth in this Dalat. Data a year ago, per capita income of Dalat reached 105 million VND/person/year. Dalat developed strongly trade services as well as tourism, accounting for more than 2/3 of the local economic size. About 1/3 of the remaining industry: construction and agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. Starting point of Dalat on 2 platforms for resort tourism and temperate vegetable growing. Last year, Dalat attracted 4 million visitors, a decrease compared to the previous year. In 2019 it was 6.3 million, including domestic and international visitors. Usually weekends or holidays in Dalat often out of room. The Dalat fruit and vegetable industry appeared from the very first days, before the official urban plans were available. The French found their homeland in this highland. They brought vegetables from their homeland and parts of Europe to Dalat, and Dalat became the most typical French farm in Indochina. At first, only the French owners opened their farms, built lakes, led water to cultivate, and that was a good thing to do in this Far East. Vegetables were brought to Phan Rang and then taken to Saigon. Helping the French are minority farmers and kin people from other places. The 1920s, small Vietnamese farms appeared and really developed from the late 1930s onwards. The movement of establishing Vietnamese hamlets developed and new farms expanded across the city. Nowadays, in the areas of Tre Mat to Tram Han, Van Ton, Tai Phien, the agricultural sector growing vegetables and crops is very developed, with greenhouses growing close together to cover the hillsides. The famous crops of Dalat are cabbage, potatoes, tomatoes, cauliflower, strawberries, etc. In Ca Dat area, the suburbs of Dalat developed industrial crops such as tea and coffee. These plants grow and have a high value due to favorable weather conditions and ideal altitudes. Traffic and urban Dalat. After initial efforts, Paul Doumer returned to France, quit acting as governor of Indochina, then he also became president of France. After that time, the construction of Dalat showed little progress. In 1923, French architect Ernest Hebrard completed the Dalat planning project. This is considered the first urban planning for Dalat. Implementing the intention of the authorities at that time was to build Dalat into the capital of Indochina. The main idea throughout is to build a city in the garden and trees in the city. The master plan covers administrative, military, hospital, school, sports fields, plantations, houses, resorts, markets. After this project, there are some additional plans in the years 1930-1940s. The general feature of the above projects is respect for nature, trying to maintain beauty of the landscape. Although not become the capital of the colony, but Dalat is considered the summer capital of French Indochina, attracting a large number of civil servants and travelers France, especially in the season hot Indochina. Style architecture Dalat characterized as the house-style villa with a ground floor one floor, with garden, in the style of southern France. Today the villa is gradually being replaced. Dalat is considered a museum large scale for the architectural style of France, and owns many architectural heritage value. Urban construction according to the layout freedom, limited intervention on the terrain, the streets bending glide the hillsides and valleys, the functional subdivisions are arranged flexibly. Dalat streets were mainly narrow, winding roads. Many roads in the city had great slopes, narrow and crowded. Perhaps because initially the city was only planned for 30 to 50,000 people, but now the population of Dalat is 231,000 people. Not to mention tourists, thousands of visitors per day. Dalat was originally a city with no traffic lights, sparsely populated under the fog. But now the city centers are also becoming crowded with traffic. Traffic jams are a reality here. Perhaps by the time you watched this video, Dalat had more traffic lights. Dalat people. Since ancient times, indigenous people are the Lak and Chil ethnic groups living on Lang Bien Plateau, the SRE people living in Tornan village. These tribes are branches of the co-ethnic group. After that were the French, Chinese merchants and other people, most of whom were kin people coming to Dalat to settle. Vietnamese immigrants mainly come from Ha Dong and the northern delta regions, Nayan Ha Tin, Thua Tien Hue. In Dalat, it was very easy to find a Hue native living in this. However, people of Hue origin are the majority population in Dalat or not. There is a need for specific studies and investigations. The living arrangement, then living space, food taste are like the North. Lives in Dalat like Hanoi in the winter day. But the sincere openness of the Dalat people was of the same identity as in Saigon. Dalat people have a warm, gentle, and open personality. Most of them are hard-working people, good at doing business, especially those who were born or lived for a long time in Dalat. Because Dalat's economy has made many progresses, recently it continues to attract immigrants from all over. Some new residents have not yet been imbued with the lifestyle and culture of Dalat, so they are still not yet civilized. Dalat is a place where there is diversity in beliefs. It can be said that the spiritual life of this city is very dynamic and powerful. According to Dalat Geography book, almost all the major religions of the country have found their place in the land of waterfall and pine, in which Buddhism has the largest number of followers, followed by Catholicism, Taoism, and Protestantism. The religious building here, in addition to the usual architectural style, have become featured. There are many buildings hide in it the breadth of the Dalat Highlands. with the traditional cultural colors of the Central Highlands people. This church example. Moreover, the religious establishments in Dalat were somewhat majestic and faintly misty when standing on the hillsides and mountains, looking far away into the immense valleys. Maybe talking about Dalat, your soul will be romantic, then everyone can take a break. Urban planning tourism issues. Currently, a number of new constructions break the architectural space and characteristics of Old Dalat, making many people who love the value of this land feel regretful. Many areas became cluttered, houses and streets of various shapes. Dalat was originally a destination for the high-end resort segment. In the past, going from Saigon to Dalat for relaxation was a dream, not easy. Dalat was more and more permissive, so that anyone can come. Even many tourist spots foster the taste of travel simply, travel quickly, come and go. We can't do anything. Art. This dreamy city is the source of inspiration for many works of art from literature, photography, painting, music and movies. During a stroll by the lake, he was knocked out by the weather of Highlands, but Han Mak II wrote the verse very famous. That poem, Dalat Dim Moon. Keep silence, not to talk much, to listen the sound of lake water shaking, to listen the sound of leaves shaking in the wind, and to see God explains the word love. A musician from the Mekong Delta, Lam Phuong, also once had very famous songs. Which city just goes away gets tired? The winding road of old pine trees. In general, the arts inspired by Dalat are very diverse, from easy-to-understand expressions to the sublime, abstract art areas. I have been in contact with some Dalat artists, who are very ordinary people, but there are also people who are quite eccentric and self-identified as unusual, but most of them are quite gentle. Dalat is the connecting place for many meetings that make history or meetings in harmony with the soul. It was the meeting of Dr. Yersin and Governor General of Dumer, the meeting of King Bao Dai and Queen Nam Phuong, singer Con Lai and musician Trin Song Sun, Han Mak II and Quach Tan, architects No Viet Thursday and his wife. And so many other encounters, might even have one between us, but you don't know. It is the time to thank you for a meeting today. You press subscribe and comment for fun. Everyone please widely share this video. Brothers and sister in the Highland, please share more. If you have contributed content, financially and spiritually, let's relaxing, the information in the description. Thank you very much.